Shalom. I want to start this lesson off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Wa Ha Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone for teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua and all Yasharala. Today's lesson is entitled Expedition. And you know how I like to do it, so I went and got the definition of expedition. Just a simple Google definition. Alright. It's a journey or a voyage undertaken by a group of people with a particular purpose, especially that of exploration, scientific research, or war. It comes from the late Middle English, Old French, stems from the Latin expeditio, from expedire. It is to extricate, and it is synonymous with rapid, quick, readiness, a dispatch, an enterprise, an exploit, an operation. Yeah, because that word extricate just kind of caught my mind even more. So I went in just to try to get a better, more clarity on those words. So I looked up the definition of extricate. To extricate is to free someone or something from a constraint or a difficulty. And then I backed up the word constraint, or looked for the word constraint and its synonyms. So it's restrictions, limitations, curbs, a check, a restraint, a control, And the reason why I go into all of these things is because these are what we have on us right now as a people, Yasharala. We have restrictions on us, controls. We're not operating how we were made to right now. We're operating as servants instead of kings and priests. All right, because we have these restrictions, these limitations, these curbs, these checks, restraints. And remember the definition of expedition: a journey or a voyage undertaken by a group of people with a particular purpose, especially that of exploration, scientific research, or war. We on an expedition, Yasharala. Alright. Now, I bring this up because, our expedition started from the foundations of the world, but, all of this Edomite society that we live in, they want us to believe that our expedition started in slavery. And this is how you know that we are the people of the Bible and these things come true, because even that they shove this down our throat, this is in the Bible. So without further ado, let me hit my first precept in Deuteronomy 28:68, because we're going to prove this. All right, this is Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So that buy is in reference to save or redeem, because it used to be a custom when back in our lands in the ancient times, when one of our brothers or our sisters go into some type of servitude, that on a release year, which would usually be the 7th year of their employment, somebody could buy their debt back, whatever that person owed them, or buy out their contract and redeem them. But we as a people, we have been under this harsh servitude. But although we've had we already know that they be plants, but people like MLK and Malcolm X and all of these other quote unquote black leaders, and all of these other Cesar Chavez, they had a couple of Native American leaders, but no one has saved us yet out of this expedition that we're on. So, and this itself is a constraint and a control. And we on a voyage. And where do we go to? Them Deuteronomy 28:68 ships that we got put on? Well, everybody always like to think it was just they came to West Africa, but truly Edomites and Ishmaelites and all of the rest of the surrounding nations they helped. Now you can read that in Psalms 83. How about the secret counsel of the wicked? They came to us to try to cut us off from being a nation. You can read that in Psalms 83 for yourself though, but just to get into this, that we went from Africa to Europe to the West Indies to the Americas. So it wasn't just people coming from West Africa. It was people coming from Africa, going to different places. People coming from South America, North America, going to Europe. People coming from Africa, going to South America. It was interchangeable where the people were going. So, just to edify you guys a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm ranting a little too much, but just to put some clarification on these things, we're going to go to, because this also happened to the Native American tribes, which entail Issachar, the tribes of Issachar, which settled more so in the Mexico region and the west coast of the United States. Then you had Gad and Reuben, who settled on more in the East Coast and the South, Middle America, not Middle America, but you know what I'm saying, the Midwest and Canada, and all of those other little islands by there. So, Salakia, I'm trying to revert back to my notes, because I know I'm doing a little rambling, but let me hit Genesis 49. All right, and this is just to prove my claims. So I want to hit Genesis 49. Then I'm gonna my first ones is 14 and 15, because these are the blessings, but these are the blessings that Jacob gave his sons, and he had 12 sons, and each of them received a blessing, but that blessing was also a prophecy of the latter times. So we're gonna get into this. This is Genesis chapter 49 and 14. Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens, and he saw that the rest was good, and that the land it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulders to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. So yeah, when the northern tribes, they came to this place, and they seen that the rest was good, the land was pleasant. So they did what they did. They built their civilization, and at around about the time they started going off, doing all sorts of abominable things on the land. So when their wickedness built up to enough, the Lord brought the Edomites over here. And then through peonage, which is like slave debt slavery, they gave their lands up through being tricked through these false treaties and whatever the case be, and somehow they became sharecropping, and that they started sharecropping to pay off whatever debt that they got tricked out of. Then that's how they lost a lot of their lands. So even now to this day, you see Issachar on their land and they have to pay tribute. They became tribute to the same people that took their land on their land. All right. So also let me get, these are the tribes of Gad and Reuben on verse 19 of the same chapter. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And who is that troop? Who was Gad? We're talking about Native American Indians. What they call Native American Indians. That's who Gad is. The troop did overcome them when we're talking about the Manifest Destiny times. Lois and Clark. When they were coming over and conquering these parts, they would, just like how they did the same with Issachar, the method never changed. But they would also use violence, and that's an attribute to these people, severely violent. All right, so we also, because we had the tribes primarily in North America, we have the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and Issachar. So we're going to jump to verses 3 and 4 so we can see about Reuben. Okay, so once again, it's Genesis chapter 49, starting at 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it, he went up to my couch. All right, and that's part of the reason why he did not get even as the firstborn, he did not get the birthright, because as we could see in these last two verses, that he went up to his father's bed and defiled it, which means he slept with one of his father's concubines. So even he's unstable as water, and he shall not. Hold on, let's go back and read it, because I do not want to mess it up. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of my dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. Yeah, because just the Native American Indians did not excel. They did not excel. And just like I was saying, they also got put into slavery under peonage, Salakia, and also the transatlantic slavery. All right, so with that being said, let's I kind of went into some of the things, but let's go into the scripture to see why we had to go through this. All right, so in order to do that, I'm gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 8. All right, it's Jeremiah chapter 3, 8. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I have put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Now I'm going to skip up to verse 7. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. So we're not talking about the carnal act of adultery. We're talking about spiritual adultery, because we are the Most High's woman. We are like the Most High's woman. We are his wife and he is our husband. So when we go, just like today, when we go to these harlot houses and we praising Jesus and giving praises to false gods, and these Muslims bowing down to Allah and everything, that's the same reason why he gave us a bill of divorce. And once he gave us the bill of divorce, he gave other nations nothing but space and opportunity to come in and prey on us, in which they did, because they knew we no longer had our power source. All right. So let me hit my next script. Deuteronomy 30. Bear with me one moment. So this is Deuteronomy 30. I'm going to start at 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curses, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee. Yeah, just like how we was talking about in Deuteronomy 28:68. He will send us again on ships into slavery into Egypt, which is just the house of bondage. All right, verse 2, Deuteronomy 30. And shalt return unto the Lord thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will return thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee, and the Lord thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. All right. And just like you see, us as a people, as a whole, we in the lowest state. That's because we're not being rejoiced by the highest power right now. We are people look down on us like they smell some doodle or something. We're like shit to these people because we don't have that glory of the Lord on us. But this is a future prophecy of these end times, when the Lord will return us from our captivity, and he will put his glory upon us, just like he did our forefathers. But right now we are still serving our punishment for turning away from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right. So I want to get my next script in Isaiah. And this is going to be Isaiah 60. And I'm going to start at 9. So once again, Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9. Surely the owls shall wait for me in the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatah, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and their kings may be bought. So what does that describe right there? That's describing how the Lord is gonna how the Lord had bought us up out of this captivity, and he will open our gates forever. That means we will be forever a ruling class, and we don't have to worry about anybody else conquering us. All right. And it says, continue in 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. So when you have forces, that's labor. Labor is force. All right. That means you're going to have servants. You're going to have employees. Yasharallah going to have employees of the Gentiles. What's the Gentiles? Anybody else that doesn't fall under Israel. That's a Gentile. All right. All right, let's get to 12. This is Isaiah 60 again, starting at 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. All right, I kind of got the point I wanted to hit in that one. So, but how will we get back to this blessed status? How do we get back to this blessed status? All right. For one, we have to put the work in to get to know the Lord. That's how we get back to this blessed status. And people do videos like this, who have woken up to notify and edify their people about who they are, to try to push the work of the Lord, to wake our people up about who they are, because they've been lied to for so long. But for the most part, how we get back to the Lord, we study, we say the true name, Yahweh, the name of the Father, and Yahweh Shai, the name of the Son, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. All right, but how else though? So this is gonna be through war. This is how we're gonna get back through to this blessed state. It's gonna come through war and purging by fire. So it's gonna be the purging by fire for the righteous. Is just gonna be hardships and adversities coming to these rough times that we're coming in, and the wickedness is just gonna be by fire, whether it be gunfire, whether it be, we over here in California, they've been having a lot of wildfires, whether it be through the actual substance fire, or whether it be, however that case be, whether it be through a arson or, a missile attack or whatever. But I want to hit Matthew 10 real quick, because everybody think the second coming is gonna be sweet. Now it's gonna be sweet for the elect people who's gonna get chose by the Heavenly Father and saved out that destruction. But for everybody else, it's not gonna be sweet. This is Matthew 10 verse 34. Matthew chapter 10 verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Man, and we know what a sword is. A sword is a weapon, but a sword causes division. So that's a sword on every level. A sword that's a weapon, and a sword that causes division. All right. So also wanted to, just want to get straight next to I just want to hit my next precepts, lucky. And that's going to be Isaiah 34. Bear with me while I get to it. It's going to be Isaiah 34, and I'm going to start at 1. Excuse me. Slacking. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. And hearken, ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and a mountain shall be melted with their blood, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of the lambs, and with goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So what is Basra and Idumea? Idumea is the Greek way you say Edom. And what is Edom? Edom is Edomites. That's these white folks today. Or that's what they call white people, or Edomites. All right. And that's the main people over this captivity over the earth right now is Edom under Amalek, which are the false Jews, the synagogue of Satan. And those are the houses of Edom. Both of those, the Amalekites and the Edomites, are both the same, of the same father, who is Esau. So let me continue. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made, this is verse 6. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the lambs, with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. What is Basra was one of their capital cities in Mount Seir, where they dwelt in ancient days, when we still had our land, because that was their inheritance given to them from the Lord, was Mount Seir, which is I think I want to say it's over in that Middle East region. Y'all brothers and sisters could look it up, but I'm not gonna say anything that I don't particularly have all the facts about right now to give you the exact location. But anyway, verse 7, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with